Hello and good evening, everybody. Welcome to Shiv Nadar Foundation Conversations. I am Brahmaditya Singh Panwar, the head of Department Sports, Shiv Nadar School, Noida. As you all are aware of the world that faces unprecedented challenges today because of the coronavirus COVID-19 outbreak, majority of us are facing and dealing with situations that we have never faced in our lifetime, that is limited or no mobility at all. This combined with constant bombardment of information for the pandemic, which is unnerving to all of us. Therefore, Shivnada Foundation has created conversations as a platform to bring to everybody inspiring stories of leaders from across various fields. We will be bringing to you artists, actors, Nobel laureates, diplomats, sportspersons, and many more through the series. As all of our students, faculties, parents, alumni, partners, etc., are bracing the current situation in their homes, we felt that it is imperative that we take some of the most unique voices in today's time directly to them and to everybody and to all of you who have tuned in to watch this live today. We hope that these conversations can inspire you and uplift your spirits in your time of isolation. So, without further ado, I would like to introduce our guest. She is a three-time World Championship gold medalist in 10-meter air rifle shooting, world record holder shooting 252.9 at the International Shooting Sports Federation World Cup in February 2019. A world number one, Apurvi Chandela. Hi Apurvi, how are you?
Good, I'm good.
Thank you for giving us your time and having a conversation with us.
My pleasure. Thank you
So
for.
yes, it's our pleasure. So how have you been in this situation?
I've been good. Shooting requires me to travel a lot, so I'm taking this time, to just spend more quality time with the family because I'm always away. So I'm trying to make the most of it.
That's wonderful. So Apurvi, we'll be going through a series of questions and then we will have questions from the audience. So without delaying, so my first question is, 2019 has been one of your best years with three gold, two silver, and a world record. I've heard that out of all these medals, two are closest to your heart. Would you like to disclose to our audience why so?
Yeah, two of them were to me because so the first World Cup was in Delhi. So the whole home crowd was there, and it was a very special moment for me because since 2018 I was in most of the finals, and I was coming fourth or fifth. I was getting closer and closer, but I couldn't quite make it. So 2019 hit, and the first World Cup, I went and won a gold out there. That was very special for me, and that gold came after a gap of 16 years because Anjali Bhagwat had won in 2003 World Cup gold. And after that, I had won, so it was very special. And I remember in the qualification round, there was a Chinese who made the world record in qualification. So then I got all my nerves in control, and I was like, okay, now I need to, just be calm, stay calm, focus on my technique, and go out there and perform at the very best that I can. So I went out there, and I ended up making the final world record. And when the final actually started, after so it lasts for 24 shots. So after the first series of 5 shots, I was placed at number 8. There are only 8 people that go into the final. After that, after each shot, I started building up. It got better and better, and the crowd behind me went crazy. They were rooting so loudly, and with shooting, all of that just makes your nerves a little more, tensed or whatever. But somehow, all of that just gave me more motivation and pushed me actually to go out there and give my best. And I can't forget that moment. It was very, very special for me.
And in front of your home crowd, nothing is better.
Yeah. And the second one, actually, the one that I won in Munich, was special because in 2018, I was in the final again at the Munich World Cup, and I was leading throughout the final. and I was getting the my rifle down, and I had a freak shot, and the shot went out to 5, which is quite bad because we usually inside 10 usually. So then I dropped out at fourth, and we have eliminations, so I was out then. So that was very very disappointing for me. And then to go out there again the next year, the very next year, and to win that gold was very very special. So these two were the highlights of 2019 for me.
That's wonderful. That's wonderful here to hear also the story. So, now moving on to the current situation, how the pandemic, the coronavirus has actually brought the entire world to a standstill, even
Yeah.
in sports, as you were preparing for Tokyo 2020, now it's been postponed. So,
Yeah.
how does that affect you? How does that affect your performance? And what are you going to do now for that 1 year hiatus, which is there?
See, it's of course very disappointing because the Olympics is a 4 year cycle. So it's not like I'd been preparing for the last 1 year or something. I had been preparing for the last 4 years because first you also have to go out there and get a quota, Olympic quota place. Only then can you qualify. So it's been a long journey, and of course, it's been. I won my quota in 2018, so it's already been 2 years, and I was looking forward to the Olympics because we're quite now. But I'm just taking it as more time that I have at training because since the last 10 years I've been in the Indian team, and I've had constant traveling for competitions. I don't get that much of break at any time. So this is actually going to help me in rejuvenating and focusing on my training better. I can only look at it in a positive way now because whatever's happened wasn't in any of our control.
Right.
So yeah, I'm just trying to motivate myself, focus on my training, spend time with the family, and get fitter. So yeah.
That's wonderful. So, shooting, when we talk about the shooting requires a lot of focus, concentration, and, consistency has to be there. So, you have so many competitions, month on month, domestic and international. So, how are you able to maintain both focus and performance?
Um, see, our we have a proper program in place before we enter any cycle of competitions. So it's in like with inputs of my personal coach, with the foreign coach, who's actually the Indian team coach, and my whole support team. So we all sit down, chalk out a plan, and we go according to that usually. So closer to a competition, we taper down so that we don't. Then there are no chances of getting burned out,
Okay.
and so it's all very planned. The way we go into a competition, how to peak, everything. If there's a major competition that we've just played and we have another one coming up, then we probably take a break of about a week and then get back to training, train rigorously, and then closer to the competition, taper it down, and so that we fresh also and we go in.
Okay, that's wonderful. So, if when you talk about that 1 week, when you take a break, so how do you unwind and relax within competition, the breaks, and preparing for the other one?
Depends on where I am. So if I'm at home during that time, then I'm a pet lover. I love animals. I have two dogs at home, so I love spending time with them. So you'll only find me playing around with them. And if I'm abroad at that time, then I like exploring the city that I'm in. So usually my mother travels with me. If she's not there, then I take some of my Indian team, the players that are there with me, my teammates. I take them around, and I like photography. So right now, actually, I'm trying to get better at photography. I'm doing an online course. So
That's
I
wonderful.
keep myself engaged so that there's no monotony or anything.
Oh, that's wonderful. See, I can relate to the pet lover because even I have 3 dogs and a cat, so I
Oh,
understand. When you come back home, and that's the best relaxation one can have because when you play with them or when they look at you, they're so happy. They bring you
yeah,
joy. So,
absolutely, absolutely.
moving on. So let's go deeper inside the mind while shooting. Tell us about what goes in your mind before you take each shot. Especially, talk about your world record. So
Yeah.
252.9, which you shot. So do you feel pressure at every shot, or were you zoned in at that time?
Um, s- uh, it's very normal to feel feel pressure, I think, and it's extremely important also. We're all humans at the end of the day. So, sports person, I'm sure, has pre-match jitters or pressure. And I think that is what actually separates what you have during training and what you have during a match. There's a difference between the mindset
Yeah,
because you need to go and perform out there when you're in a match. So I think I take it in a positive way. Pressure really helps me stay more focused, and then I'm focused on my technique. I am thinking about what my whole sequence is, my routine of taking a shot. So I follow the process, and that's how it goes. Yeah.
that's good. So you have certain like normally all sports person they have certain ritual before going into a competition. Do you have something like that?
I do. There's a particular book that I like reading. I'll read that. So it also depends. If I have too much pressure, then I'll, a day before, I'll probably watch a movie, will, release a bit of pressure out of me and just relax a bit. And if I don't have much pressure, then I'll think of, uh, an important match or whatever, so that, I have that kind of mindset later on. So it all depends on how I'm feeling that day, and that's how I go about it. Yeah.
Oh, that's good. So coaches and trainers are very important for a sports person, right? You have a very well-rounded support group.
Yeah.
So what role do they play? So in a general sports person's life and also in yours.
Um, I have so basically I have support from Olympic Gold Quest, who are so they have provided me with a physiotherapist, a nutritionist, my coach, and they take care of my whole support system, any need that I have regarding training, equipment, anything. And I started, they took me in actually 2014 before my Commonwealth Games were gold. So we've had a long term of working together for the last 6 years, and so wherever I am, if I'm at home, then my physiotherapist comes here. She works with me. My mentor comes here. He's working with me. So it's a whole rounded system of everyone's efforts combined together. Only then can you get laurels for the country, I think.
Yes,
Yeah.
I agree. I agree. So your individual coach and your foreign coach, so they have the same ideology, the same work ethic. So is there some conflict or they're at the same page?
We're at the same page because from day one, I all sat down and we made it very clear that okay, he's my personal coach and this is my national coach. And if I'm not going abroad for any competitions or if I'm not in the Indian team training camp, then I'm at home working with coach or I travel to Bangalore because he's based out of Bangalore. Otherwise, usually, if I'm in the Indian team training camps, then his name is Oleg.
Okay,
So yeah, the foreign coach. So he takes care of everything, and he has a good temperament. He's binded the team very together. So yeah, he has a good way of working. So yeah, it's
that's
very
wonderful.
good.
Good to have everyone on the same page.
Yeah.
So out of all your shooting team members, you have mentioned you are close to Anjum Mudgil. So tell us
Yeah.
about the bond you share, what conversations you have. It must not be just all about shooting or sport.
Yeah. So basically, Anjum and I have a lot of things in common. We both are introverts. We have the same zodiac sign. I was born on 4th of Jan. She was born on 5th of Jan. And we're apart from only a year. And when we're together, we respect each other's space. And we're both introverts, so we like doing our own thing and we respect that thing about each other. She's busy painting. I am reading a book or learning my photography or something like that. And we bond over food. We are both foodies. So wherever we are, we make sure we go and try out new places and new restaurants in the city. So yeah,
Oh, that's good. So you share almost the same, ideas also when you go
yeah,
out. So that's good.
yeah.
So when you are in your national camp, so apart from Anjum, so what do you do with your other teammates? So whoever is in the national camp.
So there's a bunch of youngsters now. They've brought in a lot of fresh energy, a lot of they're all go-getters. So they really motivate us to push ourselves harder, and you can also see that in the scores that Indian team is shooting now. The kind of results we're getting all across the world. We're one of the best teams. So all of that combined, it's a really good atmosphere in the team right now. We're all very enthusiastic, and it's fun because when we're not shooting, there are other things that we're all doing together. We've been having online fitness sessions also even now, even when we're in lockdown. So there's a way of staying connected and staying together even now. So yeah.
So my next question is about general sports. We all have lived in a country which is cricket loving, and
Yeah,
maximum media attention, the public attention goes to cricket.
yeah,
But over the few years, about like 7 8 years, we have pro leagues in different sports,
yeah,
and infrastructure is building up. The government is focusing on Khelo India at the grassroots level.
yeah.
What is your view? What is more required to take India or an Indian sports to a different level?
Um, I think if sports like shooting can be telecasted on TV, we can have live telecasts. I think that would really help because not if not a qualification round, at least our finals because they are quite interesting. We have an elimination round that goes on. If I talk from my own experience, I get more pressure when I'm watching someone else play than I actually do when I'm out there on the field. So it's quite interesting, I think, shooting as a sport. It's evolved also. There have been a lot of changes in the last few years regarding the the way the matches are played, the number of shots we fire. Everything has changed now. So it's quite spectator friendly. So I think if we have more live broadcasts, that would be good. Also, like you said, Khelo India is a great initiative. They're catching youngsters at a very young age and motivating them, helping them out, giving them support to actually go out there and make the country proud. So I think we've gotten off to a good start because earlier when I started shooting, we didn't have that much of guidance. There weren't many academies out there. But now in my own area, we have some 4 or 5 ranges. So there's a lot of guidance available now, I think. So we are we on a better path, and hopefully we'll have a lot more Olympic medals in the future.
We hope so. Uh, this is something which I wanted to ask you. You started shooting very late, right? So you started in college. So just want to know why and what inspired you to start shooting.
So I was in 11th class actually when I started shooting. I was always interested in basketball. So my maternal family, everyone from my mother's side, including my mother, they've all been national and international basketball players. So they motivated me. I thought of playing basketball in school. I used to love playing that. I never thought of becoming a shooter. I knew what shotgun was, but I didn't know anything about 10-meter air rifle shooting in particular. So after Abhinav Bindra won the gold in 2008 at the Olympics, that's when I got inspired by him and I tried out my hand at rifle and pistol both, and I started rifle shooting. But before that, I had no clue. That's why I got late. Now there are youngsters starting out at 13 and getting medals for the country at 16 and 17, which is amazing. So yeah.
But even your story is such inspiring. Starting off late and still, world number one. That's a brilliant job. I know how much hard work you must have done.
Yeah.
So, what is your from the time you started shooting? Which is your one of the most memorable moment? Uh,
Uh, Memorable moment in shooting would be, I think, the Commonwealth Games that I played in Glasgow in 2014, where I won the gold. Um, 14 of my family members flew to Scotland to watch me play. And that, I think, for me was very, very special. A lot of them had seen me playing for the first time out there at the Commonwealth Games. So most of them were actually traveling for holiday, and they were all in the same city as me. And after my qualification round, when they came to know that okay, she's topped the qualification, she's in the final, they all came to watch the match because before that, a week before that, I told them nobody's allowed to come for the match because it's my first games. I might just get pressure and just avoid it. But they all came in and they were all rooting for me, loudly cheering, and that actually motivated me and pushed me a lot. Just hearing them after every shot, and it was very special to win the gold in front of them and the tricolor going up and the national anthem playing. That was very special.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I So when you were talking about your family, so the question is, about your family. How have they been a backbone and support?
I would not be here, frankly, if it wasn't for them. So we live in one compound. There are two houses. So in my uncle's house, there's a shooting range in the basement where I train every day, and yeah, they've all from day one. They've all been so supportive. My mother, she sits for every training session. She sits behind me because after a while it can get monotonous because 10 meter air rifle, you're just staring at one target and shooting continuously. So she sits behind me and makes it interesting. She'll play loud music sometimes to distract me. And my father also, he's always been very supportive, provided me with everything possible to actually get there. And yeah, their support has been incredible.
Uh,
Yeah.
I can imagine. I don't think any sports person's success is without their family. Their family is always there supporting, and that's the best.
Yeah.
So, sports has a lot of role models and mentors. Who is your role model?
Mine would be Abhinav Bindra, of course, because I started shooting looking at him. And if it wasn't for him, I would be doing something else in life, I think. And I'm very glad he won that gold for the country and inspired me. And I hope I can inspire more, just like he did. And that's what I'm aiming for now. Yeah.
I'm sure you're inspiring because people are looking at you, the kids are looking at you, and they are getting inspired. Even now, listening to you, they're getting inspired. So
I
that's something to contribute. And so you said if you wouldn't have looked at Abhinav Bindra, you might have been a sports journalist. That's what I was reading.
Um, because I was always interested in sports. I used to watch cricket and football all the time, no matter what time it was. So I thought, okay, why not be at the field and actually capture, because I was fond of photography as well. So I wanted to be on the field, take pictures of, and enjoy the whole crowd cheering and all of that. Because when you're in that stadium, it's a whole lot different feeling. So yeah.
So, our Shivnada family has a lot of budding sports persons. So
Yeah.
they look up to you, look up to athletes like you. What message would you like to share with them so that one day that they can also do India proud like you have done?
I think they should all have a goal in mind, have an aim, explore what they're interested in, and go out there and give their best, no matter what it is. What matters at the end of the day is your journey, not the destination. And push yourself, no matter what it takes. Your effort should be 100%, and results will follow.
That's an inspiring message. So we'll now take some questions from the audience.
Okay.
There's a question. My daughter Savni Mittal has been selected for trials for Indian squad 10-meter air rifle. Being in class 12, she soon has to take a decision on her college and coaching city. Is it okay to take an average college and study and accommodate shooting?
If she's extremely keen on pursuing shooting, then I think that would be a good decision because even from speaking from my own experience, 11th and 12th, I took humanities so that I could focus on shooting more. And I got into a good college because of shooting, because of my results. And it's great that she's selected for the Indian team selection trials. That in itself is a big deal. So yeah, I think you should let her pursue her dreams and hopefully make the country proud one day.
And I think all parents should also understand, sports quota in almost every part of the country, it's there. And if your child is doing really well, that sports quota is going to help you. You might get into the best of best colleges as well.
Absolutely, because like speaking from my own experience again, I got a job in ONGC because of shooting. So when I started out, I didn't have any aims of getting I didn't think of winning anything. I just started out as a hobby because I love the sport later on. But all of the things that followed made me realize that you can actually take any kind of sport as a career now, and it's a great time for sports in India. So you should definitely go for it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So the next question is from the audience is, I'm a sports person and a coach. My question, what habits did you build as a kid which have helped you achieve this level of excellence? Can you outline some key good habits?
These aren't habits that I've developed. I was born like this. So to name them, I have always been very calm, and I've been an introvert. So I've saved up on a lot of energy, I think. And the kind of uh, the mental stability that you need for shooting, the calmness that you need. I think all of that was quite built in from the beginning because I've always been very calm. So yeah, I think that calmness would be one of my qualities that I think I've developed over the years. So yeah.
Wonderful. So, what's your tip for other athletes who do not have access to training facilities right now in these lockdowns? And how can they be consistent with their training in these times?
Okay, if you're not able to train properly, what you can do is at least make sure you're doing fitness regularly because that's most important. If you're fit, once the lockdown is over and you're out there again, you'll be able to resume the way you left your sport probably. In shooting, what you can do is you can do dry holding at home. Just put a small target anywhere in the house or mark it with a pen, and you can do dry holding for about an hour or so every day so that you're in the groove and you don't lose touch.
Because I think everyone should understand, sports being a physical aspect as well as a mental aspect. Mental, we don't talk about mental training a lot, right? So, what do you do in your mental training aspect to improve?
So what helps me usually is yoga and meditation. These are two things that I do regularly. I'm very fond of yoga, so my morning routine always includes an hour of yoga at least. And I also have a mental trainer who I speak to regularly. So if there's anything that I'm going through or I need guidance, then I speak to her usually. Yeah.
There's a question: what does Apurvi have to say for so many young athletes like me? I don't know who me is, but whose dreams have been lost in the passage of time due to commitments of life.
Um, if you've left your dreams to pursue something else that you're fond of, then that's completely fine. But I think you need to just hang in there, do something that you love doing, and life is pretty short. We've all been taking a lot of things for granted, and we're realizing that now in this lockdown. Simple things like going out, meeting your friends, traveling. So yeah, everything is special. It's important to stay in the moment, stay happy, and make the most of it.
Aru Bansal has a question: how do you keep yourself focused and motivated during this time?
How do I stay motivated? So my routine throughout the day is quite busy. I do my yoga. I There's no house help, of course, at home right now because you can't let anyone come or go there. Safety is as important as yours. So I do a lot of housework. I am I'm in charge of cleaning and washing the dishes because me and my parents we've divided duties, and so yeah, I do that. I do my training. I do my fitness regularly. Like I said, we're having online sessions together with the whole Indian team. So yeah, it's important to just keep yourself busy, and that won't give you time to actually get demotivated or anything. Yeah.
There's a question: how early should one start training?
Should one start training? Which sport? Shooting?
I think it's shooting, but it can be for general sports as well.
Uh, it depends. I think like a sport like tennis, you can start out pretty early. But I think shooting in particular, I think 13 is a good age because in my event, there's a lot of pressure that comes on the lower back. And for kids, they have a phase where their bones are just developing, their spine is just developing, taking form. So it's important to start out a little late. 13, 14 is fine. Yeah.
So Prithviraj has a question. Hi Apurvi, good evening. My question is, what is your daily routine, shooting training, physical training, and mental training?
Okay, so in my daily routine, suppose shooting training, I do it for about 2 hours in the morning and 1.5 hour in the evening. Physical training, I do for again 1.5 hour, and mental training, I do yoga and meditation for that. So yeah, my time gets divided in this, and I hardly get time for anything else later.
So Raj Sawant had a question which you I think have answered. He has asked any age factor to start shooting as a career. I think 13 is what you have said.
13, 14, yeah.
Yeah. So Anand V Raman has a question. How has shooting as a sport changed in India over the years?
It's changed tremendously. Like when I started shooting in the nationals, we used to have about 400, 500 participants. Now the number has gone in thousands. We have about 3,000 to 4,000 kids coming and participating in the nationals. So I think also the senior athletes, the senior shooters who've now got their own shooting ranges, shooting academies. I think because the kids are getting good guidance, there's a lot more increase in the number now. So I think it's a very good time for shooting. You can see the results worldwide. We're doing really well because we're facing tough competition domestically. That's what I think is making all the difference now.
So Rohit Ranjan has a question. My wife is also a national level shooter and aspires to be like you in future. Any suggestions for her?
Any suggestions for her? Just keep at it. I think it's important to stay focused, keep yourself motivated, um, and just I think consistency is very important. There must be days if you think that you probably failed at something. That's absolutely fine because ups and downs are a part and parcel of the game, and I go through them as well. So you just hang in there and stay focused.
Sanjeet Soni. Hi Apurvi. Question. How do you think that the schools across the nation need to integrate sports essentially in their school curriculum? Normally in school, sports is not given that priority.
I think in a lot of schools it's given quite a bit of priority now. I've seen a lot of schools that have good facilities. So I think times are changing, like I said. But if some school doesn't have it, then I'm sure they should actually ensure that there's enough physical fitness given importance to. And if not that, if your kid is in a school where you don't actually have that kind of, like when I started shooting, my school didn't have a shooting range, but my parents used to take me to the near to a shooting range nearby where I could try and test myself. So yeah, you should do that because just you can even Google nowadays anything, any particular sport that your kid is interested in. You can see which is the best academy in the nearby area, and you know you can try that out.
And it's very important that people understand that the sacrifices of an athlete is as important, and the parents also have to sacrifice to ensure that they take the children wherever it is required to train.
Yeah.
So Ravi has a question. Hi Apurvi, this is Harshita. I am an amateur. I get tense during match hours. What are the things that you do to keep yourself calm and composed during these matches?
This is the question that I get asked a lot. Even when I go for nationals, there are kids coming and asking me, pressure aa raha hai, hum kaise handle kare? So you need to know one thing: everyone's going through it. Anyone standing out there, they're all going through the same kind of pressure as you are. Because we tend to think, okay, everyone else is cool, only we are going through it. That's not true. Even I get pressure, but it's important to take it in a positive way and just think that only because of pressure you can actually get that kind of you get the kind of uh, I think the sharpness and that's required in your mind, and to stay as fresh as possible, and it makes you alert, I think. So it's very important. I think pressure handled in the right way is good.
Praveen Dharman has a question. Hi, Apurvi. Congratulations as rifle shooting is not a glamorous as other sports like cricket in India. What were the challenges when you decided to do rifle shooting, and were there any lows in your career, and how did you overcome?
Of course, there are lows. I went through a phase post Rio 2016 because a couple of months before I went for the Olympics, I went through an injury. So I had gone for this therapy called cryotherapy, which is you're in a chamber which is minus 100 degrees or something, and it was said that it's supposed to be good for the muscles. So the foreign coach at that time, who I was training under, he recommended that to me, and we were in Russia at that time, so I didn't speak Russian, and the lady didn't understand English. So she forgot to give me boots, and I went into the chamber without boots and just a plastic bag on my feet, and my feet were burned in within 3 seconds. So that was an injury that I went through, and it took me a long time to get to recover from that, because shooting requires you to stand for hours and hours at a stretch, and the kind of shoes that we wear aren't normal. The base is completely flat, so it adds more pressure on the feet, because we're also wearing canvas jacket and trouser, so it makes things even heavier, and then you're holding the rifle, so there's a lot of weight on the feet. So I used to go through feet burn all the time, but now I'm better. My physiotherapist and my team, they've all been taking care of me for the last 4 years now, and I'm in a better phase. So all of these things keep happening. Ups and downs are there, but you need to just hang in there and stay motivated. Yeah.
Injuries are one of the worst enemies for any sports person, no
Yeah.
matter when it happens, especially before Olympics. It
Yeah.
can be quite devastating, but it's good to see that you overcome it.
Yeah.
So the question is, hi, it's from Pooja. Hi, ma'am. What is the best piece of advice you have received as a shooter?
As a shooter, best piece of advice would be, I think it's something that Abhinav Bindra has said. It's not every 4 years, it's every day. Olympics is not every 4 years, it's every day. So you need to give it your all. You need to give your best effort, 100% effort each day, and stay at it. So I think that's the best advice that I've got.
So, Digvijay Singh Dogli has a question. What is the scope of picking shooting being an army officer? What is the tentative finance planning need to begin in a career in shooting?
Um, there are a lot of people from army who are actually shooters, so we get a team of army there's a team that comes from army, and they have a foreign coach as well. They based in Mau, I think, and they have great shooting facilities, so army already has that kind of set up already. So I think if you're looking for that, then it's best to contact them. And financially, I think in the beginning, shooting is a little expensive, because the initial cost of a rifle and all um, is there. But if you go to any academy that's nearby, and they'll have second-hand rifles if you want to just try it once before you actually invest into the sport. So I think that's a good option. Yeah.
We are almost at the end of our session. So, the last question. This is from Rashmi Sharma. How did you manage your professional and personal engagement? What you like to do when you want to take a break in your daily routine?
In my daily routine, like I said, I'm a pet lover, so I spend most of my time with my dogs. Apart from that, I'm learning new skills now. I'm learning photography, and I'm also thinking of starting a new language, because I don't think I have competitions for quite some time, and I'll have some time at hand. So why not develop new skills? I think everyone should do that. Make the most of this time that you've got, and yeah. How do you manage? Um, what was the question?
How do you So,
and personal
how do you
engagement.
manage your
Yeah.
personal and professional engagement?
So there are a lot of sacrifices that you need to make. Because of obviously sport comes first, and it doesn't matter what you have to give up, as long as you know you're out there doing well for the country comes first at all times. So yeah, it doesn't feel like a sacrifice then, because what you're doing is for the nation. Yeah.
That's wonderful. It's very important for people to understand, professional and personal engagement in sports people life. They have to sacrifice a lot, but they still take out some time because they need it.
Yeah, absolutely. Like I said, I take out a lot of time at home, so I love it. Yeah.
So, thank you, Apurvi, you were a wonderful guest, and you have definitely inspired a lot of people. And I'm sure, kids will pick up, shooting and other sports as well. And, we wish you all the best for your upcoming tournaments whenever the lockdown and the coronavirus pandemic is over. And it's wonderful to have you.
Thank you
And
so much. It was wonderful interacting. So yeah, I loved it. Thank you so much for having me.
yes, and thank you. This has been truly inspiring and interesting. So good to know. So it has been. So I want to remind all viewers that conversation will continue to be available on Shivnada Foundation's Facebook page in case you would like to come back and see it. Uh, Thank you, Apurvi.
Thank you. Thank you so much.